Back 20 years ago, we often didn't win the night when the finals were on. But the ratings, the absolute rating is lower now. But what's happening, people talk about in politics all the time that we're a divided society and people just want to watch their point of view. The world's changed. There's so many more options now that
is using Michael Jordan to launch an entire network again that is focused on sports. Think about, they're coming back into the space in terms of the role that they play with the NBA, and they're using Jordan because, mind you, they have other former players that are going to be a part of it. And we know some of them, and they don't really move the needle, if we're being honest. But Jordan does. And if he's able to move the needle for an entire network, imagine what he can do in terms of bringing fans back to the game. Because the fact of the matter is this, fans have left the game.
I never left.
They've left the game. There's just no two ways about it. And we can sit down and kind of try to analyze why that's occurred. But the fact is, people are not viewing the way that they used to.
We're dominating relative to other programming, but ultimately the goal is to get more people to watch, and that's what makes it a bigger event. And so we have to be innovative and find new ways, podcasts, social media, direct-to-consumer marketing, new digital platforms that we're moving to next year. ESPN, ABC are doing the same. It's a changed society.
And Jordan represents a huge fan base, not only for his own personal fans, but his era. Right? So he's going to bring a lot more eyeballs back to the game. And trust me, that's really what it's all about.
They told me what their idea was for him in that role. And I think that they're still working through that. I think that, I spoke to Michael about it. I mean, he's excited about it.
Oh, yeah? Is he happy?
Adam Silver explains the strategy that the NBA is trying to deploy in terms of getting people on social media, getting these people that watch clips and all of that, these sound bites, etc., and translating them into viewers.
It started with a phone call no one expected.
What phone call?
Adam Silver had been battling a crisis, declining ratings, disengaged fans, and a league that felt quieter than ever. And then came the name that could change everything: Michael Jordan, the greatest player to ever touch a basketball.
What do you think I am, some kind of a joke?
The icon, the myth, the man who almost never speaks publicly, and certainly not about today's NBA. But now, he's back. Not on the court, but in the spotlight. And it's not a coincidence. This return wasn't spontaneous. It wasn't nostalgia. It was part of a deeper, carefully constructed plan. A plan that involved private conversations, strategic moves, and a silent agreement between two of the most powerful figures in basketball. And what if we told you this whole thing was designed to save the NBA? To understand how we got here, we have to look at how the league started losing its grip in the first place. The NBA's big problem. In the early 2000s, the NBA was untouchable. Ratings were high, stars were global icons, and every game felt like an event. But over the last decade, things started to shift. TV ratings plummeted, primetime games became background noise, and despite having some of the most talented athletes the league had ever seen, fewer and fewer people were actually tuning in. Adam Silver tried to explain it away. He pointed to social media reach, highlights going viral, and fan engagement online. But none of that could hide the truth. People just weren't watching full games anymore. So why was this happening? Some said the game had become too soft. Others blamed super teams, load management, or politics. But the real issue was something more emotional. The NBA had lost its center of gravity, the thing that made fans care. The stories, the rivalries, the larger-than-life personalities that used to dominate headlines were fading. And that's where Michael Jordan comes in. Because to bring the magic back, Silver knew they needed more than a new talent. They needed a legend. But Jordan doesn't just show up. He had to be convinced. And that conversation, it took years to make happen. Silver's long game. Most fans think Michael Jordan just decided to re-enter the NBA's media world on a whim. But the truth is, this moment has been brewing since the pandemic. When The Last Dance dropped during lockdown, it became one of the most watched sports documentaries in history. And who was behind that release? Adam Silver. He'd been sitting on the footage for years, waiting, planning, and when the world shut down, he made a call. He finally convinced MJ to let the world see the old footage, the story, the legacy. It was a test, and it worked. Suddenly, a whole new generation was obsessed with Jordan. Kids who had never seen him play started wearing his shoes, quoting his trash talk, studying his highlights. Jordan wasn't just back, he was bigger than ever. And Silver saw the opportunity. If they could bring Jordan into the conversation, not just as history, but as a living voice, they might be able to anchor the league again. But it wasn't easy. Jordan is notoriously private. For years, he avoided the spotlight. He turned down interviews. Even Silver admitted it took us decades to get him to say yes. So what finally changed? That part is where the story gets really interesting. The private deal. On the surface, it looked simple. NBC was bringing back Michael Jordan for basketball coverage. Cool, right? But behind the scenes, it wasn't NBC leading the charge. It was the NBA. According to Silver, the league had known about NBC's return for a while, and they knew one thing. If NBC wanted to make a splash, they'd need a face. Not just any face. The face. Jordan. And Silver didn't just approve the idea, he helped make it happen. Not through contracts, but through conversations. The kind of quiet, behind-the-curtain talks that never make headlines. And in those talks, Silver pitched something bigger than just commentary. He pitched legacy. He pitched impact. He pitched Jordan as the voice that could restore the league's soul. Jordan wouldn't just talk about basketball. He would guide the culture, offer perspective, set the tone, challenge narratives, and more importantly, draw millions of eyeballs back to the game. But here's the thing. This wasn't just about bringing fans back. It was about winning them away from something else entirely. The war for attention. The NBA isn't just competing with the NFL or MLB anymore. It's fighting TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Netflix, podcasts, gaming, reaction videos, short-form dopamine hits that keep fans watching everything but a full 48-minute basketball game. And Jordan? He's not competing for attention. He commands it. When Jordan speaks, people stop scrolling. When Jordan gives a take, it echoes through every platform. And Silver knows that. He knows the league needs more than algorithms. It needs mythology. It needs figures who don't just play well, but matter. LeBron has a podcast. Curry is likable, but quiet. Durant tweets, but it's not always helpful. Giannis is lovable, but foreign to a lot of US fans. Jordan is different. He's not chasing relevance. He is relevance. Which is why NBC, Silver, and Jordan agreed. If this comeback was going to work, it couldn't be just commentary. It had to be strategic storytelling. And that's where the real plan begins, because behind Jordan's return is a new media model that might just reshape the entire way the NBA connects with its fans. The new NBA story engine. Silver wasn't shy about it. He said it outright. This is about storytelling. It's why he mentioned Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, players who are brilliant, but mostly invisible to casual fans. The NBA doesn't just need stats. It needs stories. It needs to build characters, create arcs, show conflict, growth, redemption, rivalry, emotion. And Jordan, he's the ultimate narrator. His voice has authority. When he critiques soft play, it matters. When he praises a young star, it elevates them. He gives weight to the league in a way few can. And that's why his involvement goes beyond just NBC. He's part of a broader mission to rebuild the NBA's narrative muscle, from old-school TV to digital platforms, watch parties, and viral moments. Everything now is engineered to feel alive. The NBA doesn't just want you to watch. It wants you to feel something. And yet, there's still one unanswered question. Why did Jordan say yes? After years of silence, what made him suddenly want back in? The answer might have less to do with the NBA and more to do with legacy. Why Jordan really came back. Michael Jordan doesn't do favors, so why did he come back now? Sure, part of it is love for the game, part of it is nostalgia, but there's something else, something deeper. Jordan sees where the game is going. He sees debates about his place in history. He sees fans elevating current players to GOAT status. And for someone who built his name on dominance, that matters. He's not here just to commentate. He's here to reclaim his voice, to protect the version of basketball he believes in, to speak directly to fans who never saw him play, to remind the world why he was and still is the standard. And make no mistake, his presence isn't just about talking, it's about shaping culture. Because when Jordan says, "That's not real basketball," people listen. And when he says, "This kid has it," that player's entire career shifts. Jordan's back, not because he has to be, but because he chooses to be. And for the NBA, that might be the biggest gift they've ever received: the GOAT and the game. Michael Jordan isn't lacing up sneakers. He's not chasing MVPs or titles. But in 2025, he may be more important to the NBA than ever. Because his voice, his presence, his story, it reminds people why they fell in love with the game in the first place. And Adam Silver knows it. He knows this isn't just about ratings. It's about resurrection, bringing fans back, giving the league weight again, making basketball feel like the center of the universe. And if that means making a secret handshake with the most powerful figure in NBA history, then so be it. Because if anyone can save the NBA, it's the guy who built it in the first place.